Captain G1 stood on the bridge of the Dawn's Promise, staring at the screen in front of her. Something was wrong. A small blinking light appeared on the radar, far away from any normal space routes. "What is that?" she asked. Doyen, the young pilot, checked his instruments. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. "It's a distress beacon, Captain, very weak. Coming from an old station about 2 hours away?" G1 frowned. They were carrying supplies to a human colony. They had a schedule to keep. But a distress beacon meant someone needed help. "Could be a trap," said Taewon, the tactical officer. He was older and more careful. "Pirates use fake signals sometimes." Dr. Minho looked up from his medical station. "Or it could be real. Someone might be dying out there." Ji-won thought for a moment. She knew the safe choice was to ignore it and keep going. That's what the company rules said. But she had been a soldier before becoming a cargo captain. She knew what it felt like to need help and have no one come. "We're going to check it out," she said firmly. "Doyen, change course. Everyone else, get ready. If it's trouble, we leave fast." The ship turned and headed toward the beacon. As they got closer, they could see the station floating in space. It looked old and damaged. Parts of it were torn open. Windows were broken. It looked like something bad had happened there. "No life signs," Doyen reported. "The station is dead. No power, no air, nothing." "Then why is the beacon still working?" asked Hieri, the engineer. She was young but very smart about machines. "Emergency beacons have their own power," Minho explained. "They can run for years." Ji-won made her decision. "Hieri, Minho, Taewon, you're with me. We'll do a quick search. Doyen and Soman, stay on the ship and keep the engines ready." They put on their spacesuits and crossed over to the dead station. Inside, everything was dark. Their flashlights cut through the shadows. The walls were covered in strange writing that looked alien. The air had been gone for a long time. "This isn't a human station," Taewon said, his voice crackling through the radio. "Look at the doors, too wide. Built for something bigger than us." They moved carefully through the corridors. There were signs of a fight. Burn marks on the walls. Broken equipment. And something else, cages. Empty metal cages that looked like prison cells. "This was a prison ship," Minho said quietly. His voice was sad. "Or a slave transport." Ji-won's jaw tightened. She hated slavers. Every human did. Earth had learned that lesson the hard way centuries ago. Slavery was evil no matter what species did it. They kept searching. Most of the station was empty. Then Hieri's voice came over the radio, shaking with emotion. "Captain, you need to see this. Section C7, hurry." They ran to her location. Hieri stood in front of a small cell. The door was sealed but had a window. Inside, something moved weakly. Ji-won looked through the window and felt her heart break. It was a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. It had 4 legs and a long body, almost like an earth animal, but different. Its skin was blue-gray and hung loose on its bones. She could count every rib. Its eyes were closed and it breathed in short, painful gasps. "It's dying," Minho whispered. He pressed his hand against the glass. "Look at it. It's starving. Probably been locked in there for weeks." "What species is it?" Ji-won asked. Minho shook his head. "I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. It's not in any database I know." The creature stirred slightly. One eye opened just a little. It looked at them through the glass. There was no anger in that eye. No fight left. Just terrible, hopeless suffering. "We have to help it," Soman said over the radio. She was watching through their helmet cameras from the ship. "We don't know if it's dangerous," Taewon warned. "We don't know if it carries diseases. We don't know anything about it. We know it's dying," Ji-won said firmly, "and we know we can't just leave it here." "The regulations say," Taewon began. "I don't care what the regulations say." Ji-won's voice was sharp. "I'm not leaving a living being to die alone in the dark. Hieri, can you open this door?" Hieri examined the lock. "Yes, but Captain, if we bring it on the ship, then we bring it on the ship," Ji-won said. "We'll use the isolation room in the medical bay. Full containment protocols, but we're not leaving it." Hieri worked on the door lock. It took 10 minutes, but finally the door slid open. They stepped inside carefully. The creature didn't move. It didn't have the strength. Up close, it looked even worse. Its bones pressed against its skin. Its breathing was so weak it barely moved. Minho knelt down beside it and carefully reached out his gloved hand. The creature's eye opened again. It looked at Minho. Then, with effort that seemed to take all its remaining strength, it made a small sound. Not a growl or a threat. Something soft, almost like a whimper. "It's okay," Minho said gently, even though he knew it probably couldn't understand. We're going to help you. They carefully lifted the creature. It weighed almost nothing. It should have been heavy, but it was so starved that Minho could carry it alone. They brought it back to the ship and placed it in the medical isolation room. As the airlock closed behind them, G1 looked back at the dead station one last time. Whatever had happened there, it was over now. But they had saved one life. Maybe just one, but it mattered. Doyun, she said into her radio, get us out of here. Plot a course for Vesta Station. Fast as you can. What about the colony delivery? Doyun asked. They can wait a few extra days. We have a medical emergency now. As the Dawn's Promise pulled away from the ruined station, Jiwon went down to the medical bay. Through the isolation window, she could see Minho and Somin working over the creature. It lay still on the table, barely alive. She pressed her hand against the glass. Hold on, she whispered. Just hold on. We're going to save you. She didn't know if it could be saved. She didn't know what it was or where it came from. But she knew one thing for certain. Humans didn't leave people behind. Even if those people had 4 legs and blue skin and came from a world whose name they didn't even know, that was what made humans different. That was what made them human. Dr. Minho worked quickly but carefully. The creature lay on the medical table in the isolation room. Through the clear walls, the rest of the crew watched nervously. Heart rate is dropping, Soman said, checking the monitors. Blood pressure is almost nothing. Minho ran the medical scanner over the creature's body. The results appeared on his screen and his frown deepened. Its organs are shutting down. The body is eating itself, trying to survive. It's been starving for a very long time. Can you save it? Captain Jiwon asked through the intercom. I don't know, Minho admitted honestly. I've never treated this species before. I don't even know what it eats, what blood type it has, or how its metabolism works. He studied the scan results more carefully. The creature's biology was strange but not completely alien. It had a heart, lungs, a digestive system. All the basic parts were there, just arranged differently than human organs. It's carbon-based, he said. That's good. That means it probably needs similar nutrients to us. Proteins, sugars, fats. So feed it, Hyeri suggested from outside the room. It's too weak to eat, Somin said sadly. Look at it. It can barely breathe. Minho made a decision. I'm going to try intravenous nutrition. Liquids directly into the bloodstream. If I can get nutrients into its body, maybe its organs will start working again. And if you're wrong? Taewon asked. Then it dies in the next hour anyway, Minho said bluntly. We have to try something. He prepared a nutrient solution. It was a basic mix that doctors used for humans who couldn't eat. Water, glucose, amino acids, vitamins. He had no idea if it would work for an alien, but it was the best chance they had. Finding a vein was hard. The creature's skin was tough and its blood vessels were not where human veins would be, but Minho was patient and skilled. Finally, he got the needle in and started the IV drip. For a few minutes, nothing happened. The creature lay still, barely breathing. Its eyes stayed closed. Come on, Minho whispered. Come on, fight. Don't give up. Then Soman gasped. Doctor, look at the monitors. The heart rate was increasing. Slowly at first, then faster. The blood pressure was rising. The creature's breathing became deeper and stronger. It's working, Soman said excitedly. But something else was happening too. Something none of them expected. The creature's body began to change. It started with the skin. The loose hanging flesh began to tighten. The gray-blue color became brighter, more vibrant. Then the muscles started to fill out. They could see it happening in real time, like watching a time-lapse video. What the hell? Taewon breathed, pressing against the glass. The creature's ribs, which had been sticking out like knife edges, slowly disappeared under healthy muscle and flesh. Its legs, which had been thin as sticks, became strong and powerful. Its whole body was growing, expanding, becoming what it was supposed to be. It's gaining weight, Minho said, staring at the scale readout. 20 kilograms, 30-40, it's doubled its weight in 5 minutes. Is that normal? Jiwon asked. Nothing about this is normal. Minho was excited now, fascinated. Its metabolism is incredible. It's processing the nutrients faster than anything I've ever seen. Its body is rebuilding itself at an amazing speed. The transformation continued for 10 more minutes. When it finally stopped, the creature on the table looked completely different. Instead of a starving, dying animal, there was now a healthy, strong being. Its skin was a beautiful blue-green color with silver patterns. Its muscles were sleek and powerful. It looked graceful and noble. Beautiful, Somin whispered. The creature's eyes opened. They were large and golden, with intelligence shining in them. It looked around the room slowly, taking everything in. When its eyes found Minho standing next to it, it didn't react with fear or anger. It made a sound, a soft melodic sound that seemed to carry emotion. The computer tried to translate but couldn't. I think it's saying thank you, Somin said. The creature tried to stand. Its legs were shaky at first, but after a moment it managed to rise. It was bigger than they had thought. About the size of a large earth dog, but built differently. More like a big cat mixed with something else entirely. Captain Jiwan came into the isolation room. She moved slowly, her hands visible and empty. "Hello," she said softly. "Can you understand me?" The creature tilted its head, listening. It made another sound. Minho quickly activated the translation program. "Keep talking to it, Captain. The computer needs to hear more to build a translation matrix." Jiwan nodded. "My name is Jiwan. We found you on that station. You were dying, so we brought you here to help you. We mean you no harm." The creature listened carefully. Then it touched its chest with one paw and made a specific sound, repeating it twice. "I think that's its name," Somin said. The computer beeped. "Translation matrix building. Estimated completion, 2 hours." The creature moved closer to Jiwan. It was calm and gentle despite its size. It looked at her with those intelligent golden eyes and made another soft sound. Even without the translation, Jiwan understood the meaning. She reached out and gently touched the creature's head. "You're safe now," she said. "I promise." The creature closed its eyes and leaned into her touch. For the first time in what must have been weeks or months, it felt safe. It felt cared for. Behind the glass, the crew watched in wonder. They had come on a simple supply run. Now they had witnessed something amazing. A dying alien brought back from the edge of death in minutes. "How is this possible?" Harry asked. "That kind of healing. Humans can't do that. Nothing can do that." Minho was studying the creature's scan results, his mind racing. Its species must have evolved this ability. Think about it. If you lived somewhere with unreliable food sources, being able to recover quickly when food became available would be a huge advantage. This isn't magic. It's evolution. But it's incredible evolution. "What do we do now?" Doyen asked. Captain Jiwan looked at the creature, who was now calmly exploring the isolation room, its strength returning with every moment. "Now," she said, "we find out where it came from, and we find out who left it to die in that prison cell." Her voice was hard. Someone had done this deliberately. Someone had starved this creature and left it to die alone in the dark. And if Jiwan had anything to say about it, they were going to answer for that crime. 2 hours later, the translation program was ready. The creature sat in the isolation room, watching the humans with curious golden eyes. It looked healthy and strong now, completely transformed from the dying animal they had found. Captain Jiwon entered the room with Minho and Hyeri. The creature turned to face them, but didn't seem afraid. "Let's try this," Jiwon said. She spoke clearly. "Can you understand me now?" The creature tilted its head. Then, to everyone's amazement, it spoke. The sound came out as melodic chirps and whistles, but the computer translated it into human speech. "Yes, I understand. Your machine speaks to my mind now." Everyone froze. It was one thing to save an alien animal. It was completely different to talk to an intelligent being. "You can communicate," Minho said slowly. "You're not just an animal. You're a person." "I am Valathi," the creature said. Its voice through the translator was gentle, almost musical. "My name is Kai. I am a person, yes." "Like you are people." Jiwon felt her heart sink. They had thought they were rescuing an animal. But this was so much worse. This was a person who had been left to starve. "Kai," she said carefully, "what happened to you? Why were you in that cell?" Kai sat down, its tail curling around its legs. For a moment it was silent. Then it began to speak. "My people, the Valathi, come from a world called Valathos. It is a beautiful place with forests and mountains. We lived there in peace for many generations. But 3 cycles ago the Crothans came." "Who are the Crothans?" Harry asked. "Slavers," Kai said, and there was deep sadness in its voice. "They are a powerful empire. They travel from world to world, taking people to use as slaves. They came to Valathos with big ships and weapons. We tried to fight, but we are not warriors. They took thousands of us." Minho felt sick. "They took you as slaves?" "Yes, the Valathi have a special ability. We can survive with very little food for a long time. Our bodies shut down and wait. Then when food comes again, we heal quickly. The Crothans discovered this. They realized we were valuable slaves because we didn't need much food. That's horrible, Soman said from outside the room. Kai continued. I was put on a transport ship with many others. We were going to be sold. But I tried to escape. I attacked a guard and helped others get free. We failed. As punishment, they put me in that cell and gave me no food or water. They said I would learn obedience or die. But they left you there, Ji-won said. Yes. The transport ship stopped at that station to refuel. But something happened, I don't know what. Alarms went off. The guards left very quickly. They abandoned the station and took the other prisoners. They left me behind, locked in that cell. I have been there for many days. I was dying, the room was silent. Everyone was processing this terrible story. Your people, Minho asked gently. Do they know you're alive? Kai's ears drooped. I don't know. I don't know if any of my people are still free. I don't know if Velethos still stands. I know nothing of what happened after they took me. Ji-won knelt down to Kai's level. Kai, I want you to understand something. What happened to you is a crime. Slavery is evil. Taking people from their homes is evil. Leaving you to die is evil. And we humans do not accept this. Kai looked at her with those golden eyes. But you don't know me. You don't know my people. Why do you care? Because you're a person, Ji-won said simply. That's all we need to know. You have thoughts and feelings. You have a name and a home. That makes you someone worth saving. The Crothans say humans are weak, Kai said quietly. They say you are too emotional, too soft. They say you will never be powerful in the galaxy because you care too much about others. Hieri laughed bitterly. Let them think that. We humans learned a long time ago that strength isn't just about weapons and ships. Real strength is standing up for what's right even when it's hard. Kai seemed to think about this. You saved me when I was nothing. Just skin and bones dying alone. You risked bringing disease onto your ship. You used your medicine and your time. And you did this knowing nothing about me or my people? Yes, Ji-won said. We did. Why? Because it was the right thing to do. Kai stood up and walked closer to Ji-won. It lowered its head in what seemed like a gesture of respect. I was wrong about humans. The Crothans are wrong. You are not weak. You are strong in a way they cannot understand. Doyen's voice came over the intercom, urgent. Captain, we have a problem. Long-range sensors show 2 ships on an intercept course. They're Crothan warships. Everyone's blood ran cold. They're tracking me, Kai said immediately. The Crothans put a device inside my body. A tracker. They're coming to get me back. Taewon's voice was grim. Captain, those warships are bigger and faster than us. We're a cargo ship, not a fighter. If they catch us, I know, Ji-won said. She looked at Kai. Where is the tracker? Kai turned and showed them a spot on its shoulder. Here, under the skin. Minho grabbed his medical tools. I can remove it. Give me 5 minutes. We don't have 5 minutes, Doyen called. They'll overtake us in 4 hours. Then work fast, Doctor, Ji-won said. She turned to the others. Everyone to your stations. If the Crothans want to fight, we'll give them one. Captain, Kai said urgently, you should give me back to them. I am not worth your lives. I am just one Velathi. Ji-won looked at Kai with fierce determination. No, that's not how we operate. You're under our protection now. We don't hand people over to slavers. Not ever, but they will destroy you. Maybe, Ji-won admitted. But we're going to try to survive. And you're going to help us. How can I help? Ji-won smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a soldier preparing for battle. You're going to tell us everything you know about the Crothans. Their ships, their weapons, their tactics. Every single detail. You plan to fight them? I plan to survive them, Ji-won corrected. There's a difference. Humans are very good at surviving. Minho quickly removed the tracker from Kai's shoulder. It was a small device no bigger than a coin. Hieri took it and ran to the airlock, then threw it out into space in the opposite direction from where they were traveling. That might buy us an hour, she said. Maybe 2 if we're lucky. Kai looked at the humans rushing to their stations, preparing to defend him. These strange 2-legged people who had saved his life were now willing to risk everything for him. I don't understand you, Kai said quietly to Ji-won as she was leaving. But I am grateful. You'll understand us soon enough, Ji-won said. Humans are crazy. We do impossible things when we're protecting someone we care about. And Kai, we care about you now. That makes you part of our pack, family. Ji-won explained. You're one of us now, and we protect our own. As she left to go to the bridge, Kai felt something strange and wonderful. For the first time since being captured, Kai felt hope. The bridge of the Dawn's Promise was tense with nervous energy. Everyone was at their station working quickly. Status report, Captain Ji-won ordered. Doyen checked his screens. Crothan warships are 3 hours behind us in closing. They're faster than we are. Current speed, they'll catch us in about 4 hours. Weapons? Ji-won asked. Taewon shook his head. We have none, Captain. We're a cargo ship. We have hull plating and shields, but they're designed for asteroids and debris, not military weapons. What about the cargo? Hyeri pulled up the manifest on her screen. Medical supplies, construction equipment, food, and mining explosives. We're carrying 2 tons of explosives meant for the colony mining operation. Ji-won's eyes lit up. Explosives. That's something we can work with. Kai entered the bridge carefully, still getting used to walking on the ship. Captain, I told you everything I know about Crothan ships. They are strong and heavily armed. They have energy weapons that can cut through most shields. Most shields, Ji-won repeated. Not all. Their weapons are designed for military ships. I don't know if they work differently against, what did you call it? A cargo ship? Minho spoke up from his station. Captain, cargo ships have different shielding. We're designed to protect against debris at high speed, not energy weapons. The shield frequency is different. Will that help us? It might slow their weapons down, Minho said. But not stop them, Ji-won thought hard. She had been a military pilot before becoming a cargo captain. She knew how to fight. But fighting in a cargo ship against 2 warships was almost impossible. Doyen, she said, are there any asteroid fields between us and Vesta Station? Doyen checked his navigation charts. Yes, Captain. The Rani's field. It's dense with asteroids, some as big as houses. Most ships avoid it because it's dangerous to navigate. Most ships, Ji-won said with a small smile. But you're not most pilots, are you? Doyen understood what she was planning, and his eyes went wide. Captain, that's crazy. If we go through the Rani's field at high speed, we could hit an asteroid and be destroyed. And if we don't go through it, the Crothans will definitely destroy us. I'll take the risk. Can you do it? Doyen swallowed hard, then nodded. Yes, Captain. I can do it. Good. Hyeri, I need you and Taewon to take those mining explosives and turn them into space mines. Can you do that? Hyeri thought for a moment. The explosives have remote detonators. We could eject them from the cargo bay and trigger them when the Crothans get close. But Captain, in open space, the explosion won't do much damage. There's no shock wave and vacuum. What if they're not in open space? Ji-won asked. What if they're in the middle of an asteroid field, and the explosion sends asteroids flying at them like bullets? Hyeri's face broke into a grin. Then that would work very well. How long do you need? 2 hours to convert the explosives into mines. You have 90 minutes. Get started. Hyeri and Taewon rushed to the cargo bay. Kai followed them. I can help, Kai said. I am good with my paws. I can hold things and carry things. Hyeri looked at Kai, then nodded. Okay, come on. In the cargo bay, they worked frantically. The mining explosives were big and heavy. Hyeri showed Kai how to attach the remote detonators while she and Taewon programmed the timing systems. Why do you do this? Kai asked as they worked. Why risk your lives for me? Taewon didn't look up from his work. Because you're a person and you need help. That's enough. On my world, there is a saying, Kai said. The pack that hunts together survives together. I think humans understand this saying. We do, Hyeri agreed. Humans are pack animals just like Velethi. We take care of each other. An hour later, they had converted 20 mining charges into space mines. Each one was equipped with a remote detonator and a small thruster to position it correctly. On the bridge, Doyen was approaching the asteroid field. Entering the Rani's field in 5 minutes, Captain. Hyeri, are the mines ready? Ji-won asked over the intercom. Ready, Captain. We can deploy them whenever you want. Not yet. Wait for my signal. The Dawn's Promise entered the asteroid field. Immediately, the sensors started screaming warnings. Asteroids of all sizes floated everywhere, some moving slowly, others spinning fast. Doyen's hands moved over the controls with practiced skill. He guided the ship left, then right, then down, avoiding asteroids by meters, sometimes by centimeters. Crothan ships entering the field behind us, Taewon reported. They're following us in. Good, Ji-won said. They're confident. They think they can't lose. The chase through the asteroid field was terrifying. Doyen had to make split-second decisions constantly. Left or right, up or down. Everyone held their breath as the ship dodged and weaved between the floating rocks. "They're gaining on us," Doyen said through gritted teeth. "They're better at this than I thought." "Find me a dense cluster of asteroids," Jiwan ordered. "Somewhere really tight. There." Doyen pointed at his screen. "Ahead, 3 kilometers. It's so dense it's almost a solid wall. Can you get us through it? Maybe it'll be close, and do it. Harry, when we're through that cluster, start deploying the mines. Place them in the cluster where the Crothans will have to pass through." "Understood." The Dawn's promise approached the dense cluster. To everyone watching, it looked impossible. The asteroids were packed so close together there seemed to be no path through, but Doyen saw it. A narrow path, twisting and turning, barely wide enough for the ship. He took a deep breath and plunged in. The ship scraped against an asteroid. Alarms blared. Doyen adjusted and kept going. Another asteroid came at them from the side. He rolled the ship and it missed by inches. Come on, Doyen whispered to his ship. "You can do this," and the ship did it. They burst out the other side of the cluster intact. "Deploying mines now," Harry called. The cargo bay doors opened, and the mines shot out behind them back into the cluster. Harry used the thrusters to position them among the asteroids, creating a deadly trap. The 2 Crothan warships entered the cluster, still pursuing. They were bigger ships and had more trouble with the tight spaces. But they were coming through. "Wait for it," Jiwan said calmly. "Let them get into the center of the cluster." The first Crothan ship was almost through. The second one was right behind it. "Now, Harry, detonate." Harry pressed the detonator. 20 explosives went off simultaneously. In space there was no sound, no fire. But the asteroids around the Crothans suddenly became weapons. The explosions sent hundreds of rocks flying in all directions like bullets. The first Crothan ship was hit by dozens of asteroids. Its shields flickered and failed. More asteroids smashed into its hull, tearing through metal. The ship tumbled, losing control. The second Crothan ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. Asteroids smashed into it from all sides. Its engines exploded and it went dark. On the bridge of the Dawn's Promise, everyone watched in silence. Then Soman started cheering. Others joined in. "Both ships are disabled," Taewon reported. "They're not destroyed, but they can't follow us." Jiwan allowed herself a small smile. "Doyen, get us out of this field and set course for Vesta Station." "Maximum speed, yes, Captain." Kai came onto the bridge, his golden eyes wide with amazement. "You defeated them." 2 Crothan warships, with a cargo ship." "We didn't defeat them," Jiwan corrected. "We survived them. That's the important part." "I have never seen anything like that," Kai said. "The Crothans are feared across the galaxy. No one stands against them." "Well," Yeri said, wiping sweat from her face, "they just met humans. We're pretty good at impossible things." Kai looked at each of them in turn. These strange people who had saved him, healed him, protected him, and now defeated his enemies. "My people have a word," Kai said. "Velnar. It means a friend who fights beside you against death." "You are all my Velnar now." "I like that word," Jiwan said. "Velnar. We're your Velnar and you're ours." The ship raced toward Vesta Station, leaving the disabled Crothan warships far behind. 3 days later, the Dawn's Promise arrived at Vesta Station. It was a huge human colony in space, built like a giant wheel that spun to create gravity. Thousands of humans lived there, and ships came and went constantly. As soon as they docked, Captain Jiwan and her crew were taken to meet Admiral Yunho, the commander of the human fleet in this sector. He was an older man with gray hair and a serious face. "Captain Jiwan," he said as they entered his office, "your report says you rescued an alien and fought off 2 Crothan warships with a cargo ship. That seems impossible." "It was impossible, sir," Jiwan said. "We did it anyway." Kai stepped forward. The Admiral stared at him with surprise. "This is Kai," Jiwan explained. "He's Velathi. His people were enslaved by the Crothans. We found him dying on an abandoned prison station." "Enslaved," Yunho repeated slowly. "The Crothans are slavers?" "Yes, Admiral," Kai said, speaking through the translator. "They have taken thousands of my people. They took me from my homeworld 3 cycles ago. I don't know if any of my people are still free." Yunho sat down heavily. "This is troubling news. The Crothans are a powerful empire. If they're engaged in slavery," he looked at Kai. "Tell me everything." Kai told his story again. He explained about Velathos, about the invasion, about the thousands of Velathi taken as slaves. He told about the prison transport and the punishment cell. He explained how the Velathi ability to survive starvation made them valuable slaves. When Kai finished, Yunho was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to Jiwon. Captain, you and your crew will receive commendations for your actions. You saved a life and defended yourselves against superior force. Well done. Thank you, sir. But what about Kai's people? That's a political question, Yunho said carefully. The Krothans are powerful. Starting a conflict with them would be dangerous. So we do nothing. Jiwon's voice was sharp. We let them keep slaves? I didn't say that, Yunho replied. But I need to consult with Earth Command before I can authorize any action. Over the next week, Kai's story spread through Vesta Station. Humans heard about the Velathi slaves, and they were angry. Very angry, Jiwon was called to speak at a council meeting. Representatives from several human colonies were there, along with some aliens from other species who lived and worked with humans. She stood before them and told the whole story. She showed them pictures of Kai when they first found him, skin and bones dying alone in that cell. Then she showed them Kai as he was now, healthy, strong, and intelligent. This is what the Krothans do, she said. They take people from their homes. They starve them and use them as slaves, and they think no one will stop them. An alien representative, a thin gray creature called a Vex, spoke up. Captain Jiwon, we understand your feelings. But the Krothans are very powerful. They have hundreds of warships. Starting a war with them would be foolish. I'm not suggesting war, Jiwon said. I'm suggesting we do the right thing. The right thing often leads to war, another alien said. Why should humans risk their lives for a species they just met? Before Jiwon could answer, Kai stood up. He walked to the center of the room. All eyes turned to him. I will tell you why, Kai said in his musical voice. Because humans are different. When they found me, they knew nothing about me. They didn't know my species or my name. They didn't know if I was dangerous or valuable. They only knew I was dying. Kai looked around the room. They risked their ship to save me. They used their medicine on me. They protected me from the Krothans even though it meant fighting warships with a cargo ship. They did this because they believed I mattered, just because I was alive and suffering. The room was silent. The Krothans say humans are weak because they care too much. Kai continued. But I have seen human strength. It is not the strength of weapons. It is the strength of refusing to look away from suffering. It is the strength of standing up for what is right even when it is hard. Kai turned to the Vex representative. You ask why humans should risk their lives for my species? I ask you, if they won't, who will? If everyone thinks only of safety and power, then evil wins. The Krothans win, and more people suffer. An old human woman stood up. She was a colony leader named Mrs. Yunji. The boy is right. We didn't come to the stars to become like the bullies and slavers. We came to be better. If we ignore slavery because it's not happening to us, then what kind of people are we? Murmurs of agreement spread through the humans in the room. Admiral Yunho stood up. I have received authorization from Earth Command. We are permitted to conduct a rescue operation, but it will be small, one ship, volunteers only. We cannot risk a war. I volunteer, Jiwon said immediately. So do I, said Minho. And me, Yeri added. All of us, Doyun said, speaking for the whole crew of the Dawn's Promise. More hands went up around the room. Dozens of humans volunteering. Kai felt something strange and wonderful. He felt hope, real hope for the first time since being captured. Over the next month, the plan came together. Kai worked with human intelligence officers, telling them everything he knew about Krothan ships and stations. He drew maps of the prison transport routes. He explained Krothan security systems. The rescue mission launched with 3 human ships. They were not warships, but fast transport vessels equipped with the best stealth technology humans had. Jiwon commanded one of them. They found a Krothan slave transport in the Gamma sector exactly where Kai said it would be. Using Kai's information, they disabled the transport's weapons and engines before the Krothans even knew they were there. Then they boarded. The fight was short. The Krothan guards were tough and well-armed, but they weren't expecting an attack. Humans fought with determination and courage. Taewon led the boarding team, and Hieri hacked the transport systems to unlock all the cells. In the cargo hold, they found them, 200 Velathi, locked in cages, starving and afraid. When the cages opened, the Velathi didn't understand at first. They thought it was another trick. But then Kai stepped forward. "My people!" he called out in the Velothi language. "You are free. These humans have come to save us." One of the Velothi, an older female, stepped forward carefully. "Kai, little Kai, we thought you were dead." "I was almost dead," Kai said. "But humans saved me, and now we're saving all of you." The Velothi came out of their cages slowly, not quite believing it was real. Human medics moved among them, checking injuries and providing food and water. Jiwan watched as the Velothi were brought onto the human ships. Many were crying. Some were too weak to walk and had to be carried. All of them looked at the humans with wonder and gratitude. One young Velothi approached Jiwan shyly. "Are you really saving us? Not capturing us for yourselves?" Jiwan knelt down to the young one's level. "We're really saving you. You're going to Vesta Station. You'll be safe there, and you'll be free." "Why?" the young Velothi asked. "Why do you help us?" Jiwan smiled. "Because it's the right thing to do. That's all the reason we need." The 3 human ships escaped before Crothan reinforcements could arrive. They brought all 200 Velothi to Vesta Station. News of the rescue spread quickly across human space and beyond. Other species heard about it. Some were impressed. Some thought humans were foolish. But everyone was talking about it. More importantly, other slaves heard about it. Slaves of different species, held by different masters across the galaxy. They heard that humans had rescued the Velothi, and they began to hope. 3 months later, another rescue mission launched. Then another. Each time, more volunteers joined. Some were human. Some were freed Velothi who wanted to help others. Even some aliens from other species joined, inspired by human determination. The Crothan Empire was furious. They sent threats and demands. But humans didn't stop. Each rescue made them bolder. 1 year after Kai's rescue, a great meeting was held at Vesta Station. Representatives from dozens of species came. The topic was slavery. Kai stood before them, no longer a starving prisoner but a proud representative of the free Velothi. His people had established a colony on Vesta Station while they planned to reclaim their home world. 1 year ago, Kai said, I was dying in a cell. I had given up hope. Then humans found me. They didn't know me. They didn't owe me anything. But they saved me anyway. He looked around the chamber. Today, 2,000 former slaves are free because humans refused to look away. 2,000 people who thought they would die in chains are now living in freedom. This is what humanity offers the galaxy. Not just technology or weapons, but hope. The hope that good can stand against evil. That compassion is not weakness, but strength. An ambassador from the Crothan Empire stood up angrily. Humans have no right to interfere with Crothan affairs. You are young and weak. You will regret making enemies of us. Admiral Yunho stood to respond. We're not trying to make enemies. We're trying to end slavery. If that makes you our enemy, then so be it. But understand this. Humans will never accept slavery, never. We fought and died to end it on our own world. We will fight to end it across the galaxy. You will lose, the Crothan ambassador sneered. We are powerful. You are few. Maybe, Yunho admitted. But we'll die trying. And I think we won't die alone, he was right. One by one, other species stood up. The Vex representative, who had once argued against getting involved, spoke. We have seen human courage. We have seen human compassion. The Vex people will stand with humanity against slavery. More stood up. Not all species, but enough. A coalition was forming. The Crothan ambassador left in fury. But the message was clear. Humanity had drawn a line. Slavery would not be tolerated. That night, Jiwan and her crew celebrated quietly in their quarters on Vesta Station. They had been awarded medals and honors, but that wasn't what mattered to them. Kai came to visit them. Behind him were his mate and 2 young ones, his family, freed in one of the rescue missions. I wanted you to meet them, Kai said. My mate, Sura. My children, Rin and Toma. The young Velothi looked at the humans with big golden eyes full of curiosity. Are these the humans who saved Papa? Little Rin asked. Yes, Kai said. These humans saved me, and then they saved you and your mother, and hundreds of others. Toma stepped forward bravely and touched Jiwan's hand with his small paw. Thank you, he said in careful human words. Jiwan felt tears in her eyes. You're welcome, little one. Kai's mate Sura bowed deeply. Velnar, she said. You are Velnar to all Velothi, friends who fight beside us against death. We will never forget. We're just glad you're safe, Minho said. Later that evening, Jiwon stood at the observation window looking out at the stars. Kai joined her. "What are you thinking?" Kai asked. "I'm thinking about that day we found you," Jiwon said. "If we had followed regulations, we would have ignored that beacon. You would have died in that cell. None of this would have happened. But you didn't follow regulations. You followed your heart." "Yeah," Jiwon smiled. "Humans are funny that way. We have rules and logic, but when it comes down to it, we follow our hearts. We can't help it." "That's not a weakness," Kai said. "That's your strength. The galaxy is full of species with better weapons, faster ships, stronger bodies. But humans have something else. You have the courage to care. You have the strength to stand up for others, even when it costs you something. That's rare. That's special. Do you think we can really end slavery?" Jiwon asked. "The Krothans are so powerful." "Maybe not tomorrow," Kai said. "Maybe not this year. But yes, I think you will, because humans don't give up. You saved one dying Velothi in a cell. That one act started everything. Who knows what it will lead to?" They stood together in comfortable silence, looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, more slaves waited for rescue. More species suffered under cruel masters. It would be a long fight, but humans had drawn their line, and they would not step back from it. 1 year ago, Kai had been dying alone in the dark. Now he stood free with his family, beside the friends who had saved him, friends who were willing to fight to make the galaxy better. "Jiwon," Kai said quietly, "there's a Velothi prophecy. It says, 'When the dark is deepest, look for the strange ones from distant stars. They will not look like us. They will not think like us. But they will stand beside us when all others have fled, and they will teach us that family is not made by blood but by choice.'" "That's beautiful," Jiwon said. "We always thought it was just a story," Kai said. "But now I know. It was about humans. The prophecy was about you." Jiwon put her hand on Kai's shoulder. "Then let's make sure it has a happy ending." Below them, on Vesta Station, freed Velothi lived alongside humans. Different species, different worlds, but united by something simple and powerful. The belief that every person mattered. The belief that good could stand against evil. And somewhere in the depths of space, other slaves heard the stories. They heard about the humans who rescued the dying Velothi. They heard about Captain Jiwon and her crew. They heard about the cargo ship that fought warships and won, and they began to hope, because that's what humans did. Against all logic, against all odds, they made people hope. They made people believe that things could be better. And sometimes that belief was enough to change everything. The galaxy would never be the same. One small act of compassion, stopping to investigate a distress beacon, refusing to leave a dying creature behind, had started a revolution. Not a revolution of weapons and war, but a revolution of ideas. The idea that every life mattered. The idea that compassion was strength. The idea that good people had to stand up. Even when it was hard, these were human ideas. And slowly, carefully, other species were beginning to believe them too. Kai looked at his family, safe and free. He looked at his human friends who had risked everything for a stranger. And he knew that whatever challenges came next, they would face them together. Because that's what Velnar did. That's what family did. And humans had taught the galaxy what real family meant.